Did you ever have a boss that made you hate Mondays? And a leader who made you actually want to run through walls like the Kool-Aid man? It's the same idea, but totally different experiences when you're on the other end of them. I was speaking at a conference last week and had this same conversation from stage and watched as people across the room all nodded and were like, yeah, we've been there. We've all had somebody that was not the right person to be in that position. And like I was telling many of them, it doesn't mean that that person was necessarily a bad person, but because we lack leadership training within corporations, unless you hire somebody in like myself, there isn't a whole lot of that. You get promoted to leadership or you get promoted to be the boss of an individual organization or a portion of that organization because of the fact that you were really good at the job that you were doing. So now you've moved from that position to now up higher, and you're like, okay, well, how do I lead? In one moment, these people were my friends that I was going to the bar with, and the next, I'm expected to follow KPIs and make sure that they're doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. And that creates this rift in relationships and within teams that we don't necessarily always handle well as a corporation. Because there's a difference between being a boss and a leader. It isn't just about authority, it's about how the brain responds to the different types of this. Because a boss, many times, will trigger these fear based motivations. Think about the cortisol level spiking, being in survival mode, being afraid of doing things or sharing the ideas that you have because of fear of your job or any of those types of things. And then there's this idea of short term compliance of as long as I get the next thing done, as long as I do what I'm told, as long as I come into work and do this job that I'm supposed to do, then I'll be fine. So you create a culture of checking boxes instead of solving problems. The difference with a leader is that this activates a trust based engagement. So if we're talking about the brain science of it, there's oxytocin and dopamine and psychological safety of, hey, I had this great idea. I was thinking that maybe we can try it. And then there's that brainstorming and that innovation, and more things happen when we're in a leadership position versus just telling people what to do. So now we've got long-term performance and creativity coming out of our people, and we're creating a culture of ownership, innovation, and belonging. So we're creating culture within our organization because we're leading well versus, hey, I'm just coming to work to do the job to get a paycheck to go home. And God, I hate Sundays because it just reminds me of Monday. And if your people are feeling that way, or you hear these little things in the hallway, no matter what position you're in, thinking to yourself, how can I lead better? But then also, if you're higher up in leadership, how can I help my leaders lead better so that people don't hate coming to work on Monday? Because here's a few stats that I want to go over for you when we're talking about how people work. The reason that I talk about brain science so much is because I'm not going to sit here and give you the Nike just do it and push harder and hustle more and get more mentality, because it doesn't work. It doesn't create lasting change. When we change the way that the brain thinks about it, we're actually going to get lasting change long term. So if we look at some things like Amy Edmondson's research at Harvard, this shows that psychological safety, feeling safe in my environment, is a hallmark of great leadership and is the number one predictor of high performing teams. So if your goal is high performance, your goal is higher ROI, creating psychological safety within your teams is vital for that to happen. Because when employees trust leadership, productivity increases by 50%, burnout drops by 40%, and engagement rises by 76%, according to a Harvard Business Review report. And so when we're thinking about it that way, if I can get my productivity to increase by 50% just because I'm creating safety within my team, giving people a break, creating margin, making sure that they feel valued on that team so they actually put their insights out there and make the business and the corporation better, isn't that better for everybody long term? Because now we're putting more things out there. We're more creative. We have more things that people go, oh my gosh, I need to work with these people. And so that way we don't have as high of those stress hormones going out that impair the memory and the learning that we're trying to impart on our people. So you have to be honest with yourself in this. Are you leading people or are you managing them? Are you really taking them to that next level with you or not? because a boss says go, a leader says let's go, and one drives results while the other inspires them. So, which one are you going to be today, and which one are you going to lean more towards being in the future? If that's something that you want to talk about, either for yourself as an individual, for one on one executive coaching, or for your corporation, either leading your team for yourself or for your whole corporation, I'd love to hop on a call with you. You can get on a call with me at kabrinaashley.com/strategy-call, and I will see you tomorrow.